When I heard that the French were trying to spearhead this effort to get a meeting together at the United Nations, the purpose of which supposedly is to recognize a Palestinian state. First of all, it's incredibly inappropriate in the midst of a war that Israel is dealing with to go out and present something that I think increasingly Israelis are steadfast against. October 7th changed a lot of things. If France is really so determined to see a Palestinian state, I've got a suggestion for them. Carve out a piece of the French Riviera and create a Palestinian state. They're welcome to do that, but they're not welcome to impose that kind of pressure on a sovereign nation. And I find it revolting that they think that they have the right to do such a thing. I hope they'll reconsider. But the United States will not participate, simply will not be a part of such a ruse. I don't think pro-Israel Americans need to be concerned that there's some rift between the United States and Israel. Are there sometimes differences of opinion on the next steps to end the war in Gaza and get the hostages home, or maybe to avoid an all-out war with Iran? Of course, that's natural. Quite frankly, there are sometimes disagreements within Israel, disagreements within the United States. So it's not like that everybody sees everything the same way. But as far as the relationship between Israel and the United States, that is not in any way at risk, nor is it in any way splintered or fractured. It's solid. It has to be. We don't have a choice. It's critically important that the United States maintain its partnership. And I use that word very deliberately. It's not a friendship, it's not an alliance, it is a partnership, which means we are yoked together in our intelligence sharing, military, so many ways in which our nations are linked inseparably. Without any doubt, Iran continues to be, they always have been since 1979, and continue to be, one of the, if not the greatest threat to world peace. You have to put China in there with them, but Iran poses a very serious existential threat of immediate nature, not just to the state of Israel, but to many of the Gulf states and ultimately to the United States. I try to remind people as often as I can. For 46 years, the Iranians have said, Israel is the little Satan, but America is the great Satan. I put it this way. They've always treated Israel as the appetizer and the United States as the entree. They've never hidden their agenda that ultimately they want to destroy both Israel and the United States. If Americans foolishly think that Iran could gobble up Israel and be done with it, they have made a serious mistake that would be to their detriment and maybe to their undoing. It's just important when people tell you over and over for 46 years they plan to kill you, you might want to start taking them seriously. One always hopes that diplomacy will be successful to avoid any kind of military conflict. Military conflict is tragic for a lot of people that aren't involved in the actual combat. So you hope to avoid it. But when diplomacy fails, the soldiers show up. Will diplomacy win the day? I don't know. I find it hard to believe the Iranians, after all these years of pushing toward a nuclear device that is weaponized, would suddenly come to their senses and say, we've changed, we don't want that anymore. But let's hope they do. But if they don't, the president has been incredibly clear that Iran is not going to have a nuclear weapon. And he said it, I don't know how many different ways, and as strongly as I think a person can say it. He continues to say they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. And as recently as this week, he was saying that they're going to have to blow up their nuclear capacity, total dismantlement of what they have that could be weaponized. He can't be any more clear than that. So if they don't agree to that, then diplomacy has failed. All of us are hoping and praying that Hamas will finally give up all of the hostages and release them, and then they will depart Gaza for good. If they do those two things, this is over. It could have been over October the 8th of 2023. Should have been. What they did was unthinkable, horrific, heinous, uncivilized, savage behavior. They can never be forgiven for that. They can never be absolved of that. No one can ever say they're okay, that they can stay in Gaza. The president himself has repeatedly said, Hamas has no future in Gaza. They can't rule it. They can't stay. Israel has been clear that they're willing to put them on airplanes and fly them out in exile. So they have a way out, but they don't have a way in. They have to go. And all hostages, living and dead, have to be returned. I hope we see that, and we see it soon. I've said that this pin that I wear on my lapel, one of the happiest days of my life is when I can take this pin off and permanently put it away, never to wear it again, because that means all of the hostages have come home. That will be a day I can't wait to see. I want that to happen soon. I want to keep wearing it as a reminder to pray for those hostages. As we talk here today, it's day 601. But I hope that before 602 days go by, this pin is taken off my jacket and I never wear it again. It's hard to say which countries will be next in the Abraham Accords, but I'm confident that we're going to see during the course of this term of President Trump an expansion of the Abraham Accords. There are a number of nations that now realize that having enmity with Israel is meaningless. It doesn't help them. It means nothing to help their own countries or their economies. Many of them have looked at what's gone on with the UAE. They realize this partnership has worked beautifully. They have had benefits economically from tourism and trade and from economic partnership. The normalization of those relationships expanding is good for everybody. Nobody loses, everybody wins. As to which countries, hard to say. I think we could look down the road and see a future in which you would see countries that you would never have thought to be in a relationship with Israel will be. But it is a delicate path for some countries. They can't go faster than their people are willing to go and accept. So will we push or force? No, of course not, because those are decisions that have to be made within those nations. But there is a great, let's just say, atmosphere and a great possibility that we will see some dramatic changes and big additions to the Abraham Accords.